Oh my, we have finally worked this technology piece out. I'm Tash Vanzetti. I have Nicky McMillan here. We were attempting to do a Be Live interview and Be Live wasn't playing nice, or something out there, must be the storms. We're playing with our technology, but that didn't stop us. We are here today talking about how we navigate our next iteration in our career or our business. And I thought Nicky was a perfect person to bring on for this conversation because she, like many of us, has navigated a transition from a career to a business and then to another business iteration. I know it's a journey that I've been on several times, and I help clients with that all the time. So Nicky, I'm so glad you were able to jump on and have this conversation with me. Welcome.
Welcome. My pleasure, Tash. I mean, you had a big impact in my life. So in terms of my business life. So yes, of course.
Yeah, I just got goosebumps. That's my favourite part of the job, when I see people from where they were to where they end up, and just having those foundation skills to know that they can keep going. That
really
goosebumps, made my day. Okay, interview over. That's all we need to say.
Okay, bye.
So what I wanted to chat about, Nick, was just the process, and I love how open you are about the process that you go through as well. And I think that's a really important part of the work that we do as individuals. When we're growing personally and professionally, we need to let people know what that journey is like for us so they can then have permission to go through that themselves. Because usually we can have all these grand plans and those ideas, or we can have this feeling that something's not quite right. But those first feelings that come through to sort of stop us, or we start to hesitate and we doubt ourselves, generally a lot of people will just stop there. I go, oh, too hard, I don't know what to do, this isn't for me. And I love the fact that you're able to keep showing up and say, this is what's going on for me today, but it's not going to stop me. So can you give me a little bit of insight, I guess, where you are today, what you're doing today, and then where you've come from? Because I know you've sort of had a political career, another business iteration. So just give me the give us a quick overview of what your journey has been to this point.
Well, now I love getting out of bed because I am passionate about what I do. I love what I do. And like you, just to get the feedback about the impact that you're having in people's lives, in their confidence, to go out there and be themselves. Now, before people get confused, my line of work is different to yours, Tash. I call myself a people packager and a personal cheerleader minus the mini skirt, because I've got like little chicken legs, but with pom-poms, absolutely. Yay. So in terms of people packaging, it's I started out as an image consultant, and I guess my background in communication, and always been a bit of a human behaviour geek, I just felt that there was more to it, and that's what image is. I think people confuse image consulting for being stylists. It's quite different, actually. It's more in depth, and I wanted to take that knowledge to share with my clients to a whole level of what image is, and it's communication and body language. Yeah. And I guess I've taken it even further. It's that confidence to go out there and talk to people, because as you would know, I left a long career in journalism and politics. Don't hold that against me. And government, which was great, a very rewarding career, and and made an impact there. But my confidence just was shattered when I walked away from all of that. It was great initially, very excited, but then the reality of business hit me, and navigating this unknown world of business. So, and that's when I came across you. But now, thanks to, and no, I'm not getting paid commission for the record, those of you listening, but thanks to Tash, you've helped me on that journey to that confidence to get where I am, and look at it and don't give up. Your mountain story, and that makes sense.
Yeah, I think it's really important for people to understand that we can be really excited. So when, for me, I left a successful corporate career in financial services. You left a political career, communications career. When we're working for other people, when we've built a career, we know what the ground rules are. We know what the environment is. We know what to expect. We know how to show up and do a really amazing job every single day. And that's where our confidence comes from. When we walk away from that and we are starting at ground zero again, and we are beginners, like complete novices in many instances, when you're starting a business and you're trying to reinvent yourself, that confidence, it's sort of completely shattered, like you said. And I was exactly the same. I put on the big happy face, I'm doing amazing, and behind the scenes I was a crumbling mess. A lot of tears because I had no idea what I was doing, and I did not like that feeling at all. I was used to being in control, confident, on top of things, in charge, all of the things that we do in our career. And then when you go to business and you try and reinvent yourself, it's like, holy shit, what have I done? So, yeah.
Exactly. And I think I'm going to perhaps be a little bit contentious about this fake it till you make it. I did a post on that this week, actually. I know it's all within context and you've got to be realistic about it and everything like that. But I don't think it did me any good. When I started out, yes, you ideally want to come across confident, so your clients have confidence in you, but I didn't even know who I was.
Yeah.
And I was trying to be this person who I wasn't, and it showed, I think. I mean, our moods and our facial expressions are contagious, literally, within, 13, was it 3/100ths of a second? It happened that fast. And just to finally realize and embrace who I am. I have my awkward tendencies. I'm an ambivert with introverted tendencies.
Yep.
And embrace that. And ever since I've done that and realized that I'm not a social, I'm not socially inept, and just embrace who I am, that has been a whole game changer. And I feel, and then you're attracting the people you want to work with and the people you want to hang with.
Well, when we show up as who we actually are, it's a much more attractive feeling for those looking in. Like we get people's attention in a much different way, in a much more positive way than if we've got the facade, we've got the certain external look that we think we should be going for. I remember watching old videos of mine from early on, and I've had several different business iterations, and I go through my archives, and I'm absolutely, first of all, I can't stop laughing, and then I'm mortified. I'm like, oh my God, who was I trying to be? Like, this version of Tash did not exist 2 years ago or 5 years ago or 10 years ago. And it's been really nice actually to go back and see the evolution of just peeling back all of the layers that I had whacked on myself over the years in corporate, because in corporate or in a career or in a business or whatever it is, you're trying to be a certain person, you're trying to fit into that environment, and you mold yourself to suit that environment. And what happens when you're in business, it's too hard. Like, you don't know where you fit. You don't know, you have to actually remember or rediscover who you actually are beyond all of that. And that's when your true power and that true confidence comes through. And, being okay with saying, I'm actually a bit stuck here, or, I'm still trying to figure this out. I think anyone that believes everyone has their shit together is just kidding themselves, because none of us do. But what I love to teach people, and hopefully you've picked up on this too, Nick, it's okay, like, to be a glorious work in progress. We all are.
Absolutely.
Keep moving forward.
That's made that piece of advice, one of many from you, had a profound effect in how I just approached it. Even with my clients, I do cringe when people say body language or communication expert, because I don't see myself as an expert. I see myself as a specialist.
Yes. And so I used the wrong word. I should have used specialist for you in my intro post, but that's okay. You'll forgive me, I'm sure.
That's okay. And for that reason, we're all a work in progress. Even those who have years and years and years of experience, we're still learning and we're still refining. And I think it gives your clients permission. Like, when I say that at workshops or with clients, it's like this visible sigh of relief. I don't get out there and pretend I'm an expert and say, you should do this, you should do that. It's like, hey, we're alike.
Yeah.
This is why you're working with me, because I'm being true to I'm myself.
Yeah.
And it just gives them permission to relax as well, and just celebrate the journey that we've come so far.
Yeah, and we're always learning. I mean, I remember the first round of Clarity Base Camp I did when we sort of crossed paths and you came into that group. It was amazing. We had, I think, 80-something people from all over the world jump into that. We covered a lot of ground in 1 week. And the feedback was amazing. But I've and that was 2 years ago. I have learnt so much. I've developed in so many ways as a coach, as an individual, as a business owner, and there's so much more that I can share. So I got results back then. I'm getting even better results now. And I think we all have to realise that wherever we are today, we're able to help someone. Like, we may not be at the top of the mountain we're going for, but the experience, the perspective, the knowledge, the insight, the emotional intelligence, all of those things that we have available to us today are valuable to people. So we have to remember that.
Absolutely. And again, as I said, you've had so much effect on me, Tash. Like that book you recommended, Stephen Pressfield, The War of Art. And I think I posted it and I sent it to you, and it was along the lines that we all have a genius.
Yeah.
An inner genius. And just like listening to, you know, Bob Proctor and, you know, the Earl Nightingales and, you know, all those legends, Napoleon Hill.
Yeah.
That helped me to get over myself, start focusing on me, and realizing doing my job in terms of getting out there and sharing my genius and my gift to help positively impact others.
Yeah.
And that was the turning point, I think.
I love it.
Clarity Base Camp, but it was like this: get over yourself. Yeah, you're being selfish. People are waiting for you to help them, and that's exactly what you've been doing. And I think that's one of the best pieces of advice for anyone in business.
I mean, there are so many things I'm yet to learn, to figure out, to discover. There is, you know, I'm still striving for so much more. And occasionally I would forget that, I can still help people today, even though I'm not at the pinnacle of where I want to be. And we're all in that same boat. And I found too, over the years, the more I share my journey, like what I'm learning at that particular point in time and how I've taken that information on board, or what my experience has been, or what the big fat mistake was that I made that then gave me that lesson, the more I can share that with people go, oh yeah, right, okay, I'm not the only one that's made that stupid mistake. And it's not really a stupid mistake. We're doing the best we can with what we have in front of us. You know, I heard a really good quote this morning, or Mel Robbins, I watched a little video of hers, and she said, the reason you're feeling stuck is because your body wants growth. And she said, you know, if you feel thirsty, your body wants fluid. If you're hungry, your body wants food. If you're feeling stuck, that's your body's sign to say that you're feeling, you know, it's craving growth. And I love that, because we often feel like where we are isn't really where we want to be. Like, obviously in your political career, you're like, oh, I'm doing great, and on paper this looks amazing, but something doesn't feel quite right. So what were some of the early signs for you that you knew it was time to change from the career that you'd spent so much time building?
I think it was, I think I was very blessed. I had the most amazing career in government as a ministerial advisor, and I actually had more fun in opposition, believe it or not. That was a lot of fun. And I think it was in that career working for regional senators and being regional based, we got to meet so many amazing business people and entrepreneurs and everything like that. So, and leaders, community leaders, and they inspired me at a subconscious level. And I think the turning point was I was writing a speech about disgruntled cleaners in Parliament House. It was to go in the Senate the next morning, and it was about 3 o'clock in the morning, and I was thinking, why am I working these incredible hours for someone else's own ambitions and about something that regional people don't give a toss about? And so I thought, well, I might as well work these long hours, and yes, we do. I'm sure many of us pull all-nighters for myself, and to help other people, and for my growth. And that was the turning point, I think. Yeah, where it was the turning point. Yeah.
Were you maybe a little bit scared by that, or really excited? When did the excitement turn to fear when you made that leap?
I was excited. That I guess the reality kicked in probably about probably a few weeks into it, because I played it small for so long though. Because yes, I left my job, but then I got the website done, and I felt like I didn't want to launch anything until everything was in place, despite advice from my mentors at the time. Yeah. You know, the website is that's just a part of.
We have all these stories of all the things we
Yes.
need to have in place before we can start the thing. And I've
Absolutely.
fallen for it again and again. And even though I can pick it out and like I can see things in other people like really quickly because I've been there that many times myself, but I still fall for it myself occasionally. So yeah, we all have the story about we need this and this and this and this and this before we can do the thing. So
yeah, and then it was just a reality, and I guess because I had introverted tendencies anyway. Even in politics, I was very confident in my job, and yes, as a journalist, you can go up and ask questions of people all walks of life in politics, but at a social level, I dreaded it. And then having to throw yourself into the networking and getting involved with the chamber, that's when I thought, what the F? What have I done? And that's when I think the universe was looking after me when I met you via her business and you were advertising the Clarity Base Camp.
Yeah, so Clarity Base Camp was a whim it was an idea that I had. It was a whim. I was like, oh, this would be fun. Like, let's do this. And I didn't have, I kind of just created it on the fly that week. Some people won't dare admit that they do that. And I did because it just came so naturally through me, like just the ideas and everything. I knew the process. I just, all these people showed up and I took them on the journey. Like I was the guide. And that's my favorite thing to do is to be the guide. Yeah. I'm not the expert. I'm not at the top of the mountain, telling them what steps to take. I'm guiding them. I'm there with them on the journey. And I think clarity is one of those things that we think once we have clarity, then I know the exact steps that I need to take. Like I'll get confident once I know exactly what I need to do or where I'm going or what I'm dealing with. But I think confidence comes just from that forward movement, just from action, just by taking the steps. And that's when clarity comes too. Like there's certain things that you can figure out beforehand, like that foundations piece, but you don't know what the rest of your journey is going to be until you start moving. So you went from your career, you went into become a sort of an image consultant. And then by taking those steps, then you opened up this next avenue that you're in now with body language communication. And you're bringing all, the bits of the work that you love from being in communications, from being a journalist, from seeing how people react to the public, how their body language can tell a story, whether, before the words leave their mouth. All of those things you've been building up over your experience, and you've learnt to sort of pick and choose the bits important to you and take them forward. And I think that's where clarity can come as well, which rather than taking everything with us.
That is so true. And it's what it was, is picking and choosing what I love to do.
Yeah.
And that's why I love what I'm doing.
Yeah.
More so than doing, what I was doing before.
Yeah. And I think that's the other thing. We need to, once we understand a bit more about who we are, like what our natural style is, what our natural tendency is, how we naturally show up in the world, we can enhance that and we can really focus on those sides rather than trying to do all the things that don't really suit who we naturally are. And that's where our strength can come in. And I love how you've taken the time to figure out, well, who is Nicky? Like, who am I naturally without me trying to be someone else? And then let's just show up as Nick. Let's just show up as who I actually am, and takes a whole lot of pressure off. For me, I'm just, I'm learning more and more. It's okay just to be Tash. Just be you, Tash. Just don't try and be anyone else. That's just too bloody hard. So it's really nice that you can sort of give yourself permission to do those kind of things. So when you are taking on those new challenges and you're trying something new, I know you have a little name for the little voice that comes in and sort of tries to talk you down. Nick, just stay back in your box, get back in the corner. Do you want to talk a little bit about your friend Lizzie?
Yeah, I've got my packet of almonds over there actually. And I just shared this. We just had a job seeker event, and this is incredibly powerful with my 6-year-old daughter Olive as well.
I love how you're sharing this insight with her.
Yeah. So many of you would have heard of the reptilian brain, the lizard brain. So basically that's the size of an almond, and yet can create so much havoc on our thoughts. And was it another one? Was it the itty bitty shitty committees? Another one?
Yeah.
I came across this really cool hack actually through Taryn Brumfitt and Dr. Gemma Munro, and it was taming the lizard brain. Mm-hmm. And so, we'll have those sayings, I'm not good enough, I'm not smart enough, I'm not qualified enough, all that frap, as you call mind shit.
I call it the mind shit, the stories we believe that keep us playing small, and it's just a narrative. It is just a thought we've had again and again.
That's right. And that's the thing, our lizard brain, our amygdala, its job to keep us safe and small. It's evolutionary, it goes back, millions of years. So I think we need to respect that anyway. So this really cool hack I do is we say, instead of saying I'm not good enough, I say my mind is having the thought that I'm not good enough, but I am. And so it disconnects you from what's really going on. And another one is naming. Now, I know maybe my husband is secretly looking up a nut house to admit his wife into, and maybe his daughter now. But it was another great one is giving it a name. So I call mine Lizzie, and at risk of sounding really crazy, I actually call my sensible part of the brain, the prefrontal cortex, Bip. I don't know why Bip, but Ollie, my daughter, has called her lizard brain Stephanie, and Serena, the lizard brain, and her rational part of the brain, Stephanie. So it's really funny because basically it is by naming them, and when they go, on steroids, like you're about to do a presentation, and Lizzie's,
having a field day.
Yeah, absolutely. And I say in the car, back in the box, Lizzie, I've got this.
Yeah.
And it works.
Yeah.
And my little girl, Ollie, she cracks me up because she'll go into her bedroom and she's in a bad mood, and she'll go into her bedroom, shut the door, and say, Serena, get back in your box. Stephanie and I have got this. And she makes that a completely different girl.
That is amazing.
Absolutely. It's a really cool hack to try as a parent as well with your young kids.
What a beautiful gift to give your daughter too.
Yeah, it's great.
There are so many different things that we can do once we understand, it's okay to be ourselves. It's okay to find the path that's going to, be exciting for us, because we can be great at so many things. But if they're not filling us up, if we're not excited, to jump out of bed every single day to do it, if we're not sustained to just keep going and showing up and getting better at the thing that we're doing, then what's the point? I think there's too many people out there playing it safe. And I love the fact that you've just gone, you know what, I want to do this next and I'm going for it. And I want to do this next and I'm going for it. And I want to do this next and I'm going for it.
Yeah, and look, there's been tears and, but you learn to manage it. Like I'm like you, I love running, walking. You've got Lily, I've got Banjo, our four-legged personal trainers who take their job very seriously.
Yes.
And laughter. I love this when the endorphins released during laughter have a similar chemical composition to morphine and heroin.
Wow.
So, that is so cool. I mean, I had morphine when I was sick. I never had heroin, but this is like a legal, healthy way of getting high.
Yeah.
So trying to laugh at something, even if it's at yourself, that I find that helps as well. And but you did touch on just like clarity-based campaign. You just put it out there, and again, I'm not getting paid commission, but again, that also propelled me to do the same. Like this job seeker initiative. I first put that out there a while ago, but these events, it was sort of done on the run. I just put it out there and did a tash, and it was quite liberating. And all these other events, you just put yourself out there and then you have to do it.
Well, the thing is, we know all of the content. Like, we wouldn't have the idea if we didn't know enough to pull it off. But what we do is Lizzie, or whoever that voice is for each of us, tells us we're not ready, tells us we have to have this 6-month lead campaign, tells us we have to have a list of 10,000, tells us we have to be, have another graduate degree, tells us we need all of this crap that we don't need. We know our stuff. When we get people in front of us, like, we just know exactly what we need to say next. Stop putting so much pressure on yourself and stop having this immense expectation. I think we're our own worst enemies. We have such high expectations on ourselves, not so much everyone else. We're happy to help everyone else. We're happy to guide them through it, but we won't ask for help ourselves, and we have this huge expectation, and we wonder why things feel so hard. So, and on the tear front, there's always going to be tears. There's always going to be, it's going to be a massive roller coaster of contrast, but that's life. Like, I don't think there's, it'd be boring to be just plateau the same all of the time. I think that, I love your sunset runs and your sunrise runs. I do the same. We need to build in this integration time. So when we are pushing ourselves cognitively, when we're growing and when we're evolving, when we're learning all this new stuff, when we're just stretching that comfort zone continually, we need to give ourselves space to integrate that and for our body and our physiology to catch up with what we're actually putting ourselves through from a cognitive perspective as well. Otherwise, it's just you're going to burn yourself out. I made that mistake early on as well, and I think we all do it. You probably did as well. That we're so excited, but also a little bit desperate to make it work and to figure it out, that we don't give ourselves that white space. We don't give ourselves that reset and recalibration time to actually just catch our breath, remember what we're here to do. We can't keep showing up for people if we're completely exhausted behind us. So I love that you've taken that advice along the way as well.
Yes, I'm a work in progress with that too, but I'm my exercises are non-negotiable. Yeah. And besides, I have Banjo looking at me.
Yeah.
And I know that when I start struggling with with Lizzie, which that's I know I just go out and I go for a run.
Yeah, it does dissipate the angst. When you're out, when you change the scenery, when you move, when you allow yourself just to let go of all the things. I'm not saying they go away instantly, but it does dissipate that feeling. And we forget that we are in control of the choices we make, the emotions that we have. The other day, for example, I was getting really frustrated with my son, 14-year-old son, love him to death, but he's an independent soul and he wasn't doing what I wanted him to do, what I thought was the right thing to do. He had one opinion, I had another. And I was so frustrated. And when I looked, he was like, whatever. But I was like, oh my God, like what's going on? And then I realized he's not making me frustrated. I'm making myself frustrated. I'm making myself angry because I am not in control of the situation. So when I drilled through and realized that it's because of my sense of lack of control that I'm getting so anxious and frustrated and upset. And when I let go of that, and he had a valid point of view, so did I thought, but I just had to accept that, oh, okay, I can let go of this and the day will go much smoother. And it was just amazing how quickly that could dissipate once I identified that it was actually me causing that emotion, causing that reaction, blah, blah, blah. And because I have a bad habit, and I think a lot of us do, I want control. If I'm in control, then things feel safe. And what we have to learn is we have to let go of that control and that sense of control and just trust that it will unfold perfectly. And we will take whatever lessons we need to take along the way. So we're all a work in progress. Some days are better than others for all of us, I'm sure.
Right.
But I love and congratulate you, Nicky, for all that you're doing, just for you've got so much passion for your local community, for the work that you're doing, for helping people become more confident in their day-to-day lives, for helping young people get jobs in your community, just to help people understand how to show up as themselves more and more. I think it's, to be commended. So congratulations.
Thank you. Just tapping into your inner awesome, because we all have it. And it's something what I'm really passionate about. And I did, again, so grateful. Stepping out of our comfort zone, a tip you do about a tip that has helped me and that I want to share is do something that pushes you out of your comfort zone every day, if possible, if not once a week.
Yep.
So something that scares you, and I have a Friday, so if I'm busy, it's the Friday, and I won't say it's F it, just do it Friday.
Yeah.
I try and have my days in the office, so I do those things in my 90-day plan to take me to the next level that I'm not comfortable with, but I do it. But you find, though, you would know this, anyone would, when you do it, it becomes, when it starts to get more comfortable, you need to then up at a level.
Yeah.
And and it's really cool, and just to do the stuff that I'm doing and some really big goals next year. That is when I started out, Tash, when I did Clarity Base Camp, I would never even thought of that. I'd think, no way. Yeah. I wouldn't do that. I'll
Yeah.
just play it
I
safe.
found the more I do that, the more I realize it's the story that I've created around the possible scenario, you know, that horrible thing that's going to happen if I even dare try. It's the story that I've created that's what I'm scared of. It's not the reality, because when we actually do it and do the thing, it's not nearly as scary as we thought it was going to be. And it's opened up so many different opportunities. And it's like, oh, why did I wait so long? That wasn't as bad as I thought.
Yeah, and even if it's just a small step,
Yeah.
it's going to make you uncomfortable. It could be that phone call or something, but it's
Reaching out to someone, writing an article, posting something that feels a bit, I'm not sure about this, you know, I might ruffle some feathers. Do it. Go for it. It's like we have this rubber band of resistance around our comfort zone, and we stretch it and we stretch it and we stretch it, and it will just keep snapping us back. Like that, you know, that snap back. It's like, oh, it's scary. I'm just going to stay here. But the more you keep stretching and playing with that boundary, the looser that resistance is, and, you know, the slower that snap back. And then we get to a new level of comfort, and then we have to try again. But, you know, you've still got to integrate. You can't just keep stretching and pushing every single day. You do need to catch your breath, integrate, and then go again. But I love it. We are, you know, what's the word? We're human beings and we need to grow. We are evolution, we need to grow. So I think it's really important. If you're starting to feel stuck or uncertain, it's time to grow. It's time to move. It's time to do something different, because, you know, we tend to stagnate when we don't. When we listen to that voice and we stay where it's nice and warm and cozy, even if we're not completely happy, we stagnate, and then we start to resent that feeling, but we don't really know why. So. Awesome.
Trust your gut instinct as well. Trust your gut. Don't overthink it and just act.
Yeah. I think indecision and hesitation are some of the biggest killers of dreams out there, because the minute you start to hesitate, you start to overthink it, and you start to build those stories and those scenarios around why you can't, what's going to happen. If you just act and do, and I've proven that again and again with a lot of things I've done. I've just done it. As terrified as I was, you know, I've offered things, I've done Facebook Lives, I've said things, and I'd be sweating and I'd have to go and have, you know, change my shirt and have a shower afterwards. I was just so, but I did it, and they were amazing. So you just have to get over that physical and emotional kind of, and just do it.
Yeah, and remember, tap into your genius. Your people are relying on you to help them. Yeah. And
when you know what your natural strengths and abilities are, because a lot of us don't value them, we can't articulate them, we can't identify them. Sometimes just give, and that's what I love to do for people. Like, I've got fresh eyes. I'm not emotionally attached to your experience, your skill set, or your story. I can pull the bits out that you need to know and make you aware of them. And you go, oh, so that's a good thing? Hell yeah, that's a good thing. So,
I'm normal.
Yeah, you are normal. And everyone is so different.
These days.
Anyway, any last words, Nick, before we go off, to encourage people to sort of, you know, face up to that iteration or that clarity that they're looking for?
I just setting your goals, which you touched on, getting in your comfort zone. Learn every day, and gratitude, and don't treat it like a chore. Like I used to, it's like, oh, I've got to do this. I've got to write down what I'm grateful for. It doesn't work. Treat it like a bit of me time. Grab what I do, a cup of sleepy time, herbal tea, sit in your bed and do it, and treat those road trips as an opportunity. Like when you don't have your family with you and you don't have to listen to Peppa Pig countless times or whatever, treat those road opportunities as an opportunity to knock over that audiobook and listen to your favorite podcast or even music, and just embrace those opportunities. And if you're in a traffic jam, I think that's a gift. Just that as an opportunity to me time and learn.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's just, we're in this constant phase of evolution, and the sooner we realise that, the better, I think. Right. We're never going to make it. We're never going to get to that spot. We're going to keep going and keep going and keep going. So
that's right.
Anyway, thank you so much, Nick, for joining us. I know you've been busy running workshops and that this morning, so thanks for catching your breath enough to sort of jump on and do this. We didn't let the technology win. We found a way around it.
We did. And my absolute pleasure. And as I said, Tash is awesome. So
yay, thank you.
Can't wait to see what you're offering next.
There's so many cool things that I have brewing. It's just so nice that I love tracking where people have been. Like, when do we meet? What was the work that we did? And I'm not the only one. That's the thing. We can all have so many different types of support. I offer one type of support to people. You know, there's other people out there that that offer other types of support. I think people need to get better at asking for help and acknowledging that, you know, they don't have everything figured out, and that's totally okay. I used to be a shocker. I would never ask for help. Happy to help everyone else on the planet, would not put my hand up for my own support. I'm recovering. I'm getting better at that. But I just think it's so important that we realise that asking for help is not a sign of weakness. It's a sign of growth and strength. And, yeah, I think we all need to get better at that.
That's right. Absolutely. Perfect way to
yes.
off.
Well, have an amazing rest of your week. Enjoy the weekend. Thank you for being here with us. I'll put a link next to this video of where people can find you. Nicky McMillan, she's on Facebook, Nicky McMillan. Yeah. And yeah, go check her out. She's amazing, doing amazing things. And yeah, we'll talk to you soon.
Thank you, Tash. Don't forget, everyone smile and laugh, get high on laughter. And we're contagious. Real smile.
Absolutely. Even if you're in a really bad mood, force a smile on your face, even if you don't feel like it. And it's amazing how your mood can change just with that simple little action.
Yeah.
So funny. Awesome. All right.
Okay.
We'll see you soon.
Bye.
Bye.